fast the copy. All right. So I made my key this morning for the quest tomorrow. It is pretty straightforward. Again, what is on there? So as you guys are looking at your review there, first off on the equation side of things, there's been 4 equations I've been working through with you guys over since August. One is just like number 1. Okay, it's just a simple linear equation. Got the distributed property, got variables on both sides. It brings up a little bit of everything. Then another question I'm going to give you is like number 2, clearing out the fractions, solving it out. And the third question I've been working with you guys is solving by square roots. Remember, typically we get 2 solutions there, simplest radical form as always. And then the 4th type we've been working off of has been proportions, using our cross multiplication, all right, our cross products, I should say. Those have been the 4 types of things we've been working through on equations. And when you look at the second page, or say the back of the front page, that's where those 4 happen at. Then you guys got a little practice with polynomials. Actually, the first 4 questions I think is all about the polynomial work from what you've been doing. So first part of the quest is your polynomial work, just making sure you can multiply, add right here, whatever you need to do. Making sure you can continue to know the different pieces. The thing about factoring is we've been doing a lot of talk about that again, so that shouldn't be anything crazy for you. And then on the back side we go, just a little bit more of the polynomial work, knowing the different pieces of the polynomials. Again, our factoring has kind of reinforced all that. So over the course of your quest, these should be the easy points to grab. If you know you've been struggling with like the proportions or the fractional ones, all right, let's obviously try to get there, but grab the easy points on the polynomials. And then lastly, the last page, the back of the last page, will be just a little bit of work on the radicals that we've also algebra backfilled throughout this year. Okay, so making sure that you can obviously just simplify the basics, make sure you can multiply, and then make sure you can add. When you do those things, you should look pretty good. You front to the second page, then you're factoring. Okay, which judging by your guys' quizzes, factoring's looking fine, so I'm not too concerned off of that. Okay, so this is again now as I kind of walked around things for your quest. Anybody have one that you just need to see? Dale, do you need a copy of it? Andrew? 7. 7? All right, let's look at number 7 real quick. All right, that's my proportion. Number 4 and 7 are the same setup. Set up our cross products equal to one another. When I keep saying cross products, all right, several of you guys had, I know, mentioned cross multiply. It's kind of the, let me get that to be a little bit bigger. Try this again. So as I was saying there with your cross products, all right, we're taking these, multiplying together, that's going to be equal to that multiplied together. So x plus 7 is 2 terms. You better put that in parentheses. And then 9 times 4. And then that's it. With your proportions, it's getting out of that proportion into question 1. Just a plain old linear equation. So kind of reset your brain. You've got parentheses, so what are we going to do? We distribute. And then 9 times 4 is what? 36. And then we subtract 56 and divide by 8. We are now to our 2-steppers. Watch your arithmetic. That is, as always, the biggest issue. I don't tell you how to round. I won't have you round anything on this quest. So you always do simplest form. The simplest form meaning a fraction, reduce it. The simplest form means radicals, simplify that radical. Just depends on what's on the context of the problem. And then negative 20 divided by 8. Can't reduce, all right, sorry, can't divide nicely, but we can reduce that down by, whoops, try this again. We can't reduce down by 4, right? And that's where I'm getting that negative bypass from. Okay. Other questions anybody's got? Sam?
Can you go over some of the square root ones?
Sure. Any one in particular with you?
Like 21.
Okay. Let's just stop right there. Let's go 21 then. First thing I noticed on 21 is obviously the variables. Just ignore them for a quick minute. take that 32, that's like I think might have been the very first thing we start off with the school year is simplifying radicals. So take your 32, do your prime factorization, all right, and I'll just kind of treat this as a branding one here. So 32 starts it off as what? Several possibilities, and then keep breaking that down, right? 32 then is what? 2 and 16. So I start to create a bunch of 2's, and then 16 continues on. And then x to the third, y to the fourth. I'm doing that same thing of looking for pairs. Pairs make perfect squares. So pair, pair, and I did not do something right. I got too many 2's. Because 32 is not perfect. How many? I had a 2 here, 2 here. What's up? 5 2's.
We divided 32 by 2 to make it 32.
Oh crap! I did 32 again. Thank you. Right here was my mistake. 32 divided by 2 is not 32 again, is it? It is 16. That's where I lost track. Thank you. So one too many 2's. And then from there, as I was saying, pairs make perfect squares. Again, the reason why I know I screwed something up there is 32 is not perfect. And all my 2's are about to go away. I know that cannot happen because 32 is not perfect. So I got 2 left over. Now, pairs make perfect squares. In the x to the third, how many pairs of x's are in there? There's one pair because there's 3 of them. So there's one pair. So what we've talked about doing then is rewriting that as a product with always an x to the first out there. That way you can then see how many x squares are hiding in there. Y to the fourth is already even. How many pairs are hiding in y to the fourth? Yep. So we just slowly bring everything out. Every pair, 1 comes out. So 1, 2, another 2. In the x to the third, there's a pair of x's, so 1. And y to the fourth, there we just said there was 2 pairs. That's annoying. And then 2x stays underneath. Clean that thing up. 6 times 2 times 2. What is that? 24. X, y squared. Okay. So simplify your basic radical. And then for the variables, we said it's not anything too much crazier. You just keep doing the same thing. Looking for pairs. Pairs make perfect squares. Okay. So simplifying something like that. And Sam, you said another one like that?
Can you do 19?
I can do 19 up above with the adding with those. Sounds good. So actually, let's just drop it. Let's just do 17 and 19 kind of at the same time because 17 is multiplication. 19 is we're adding them. Where some of you guys get that kind of combined in your head. With multiplication, first multiply and then simplify. So first thing we do is multiply these together. Negative 2 times 5. And then underneath multiplies together. I don't care if they're likes. Still multiply them together. You can do that. And now we simplify that radical. 150, same deal. Take it off to the side. Simplify down 150. However you want to. 10 and 15 might be the obvious one. And eventually you should get that negative 50 squared root 6. Multiply everything together first. Now, with number 19 and 20, we're adding those. You can only add them if they're like terms. So the mistakes that people do is just basically bring this all together some way, somehow, and break the laws of math. So let's not do that. We need to first see if we can simplify these down so they do become like terms. So take the negative 3 square root 20 off to the side. See how that simplifies down first. Now, negative 3 root 20 eventually becomes negative 6 root 5. Negative 3 root 3 is already simplified. And negative 2 square root of 12 eventually becomes negative 4 root 3. Now after that, we have like terms here. And this just is like adding up x's and y's. Okay. Negative 6 root 5 is nothing. But right here, negative 3 minus 4 combines to give you a negative 7. When you're adding radicals, the radical stays as is. You're just touching those coefficients out front. Okay. That's, again, usually kind of the common mistake I see from people. I expect that, but let's try to kind of clean that up for the quest tomorrow. Okay. This will be worth, again, half of a test. It's like an algebra final, but this is technically a geometry class, so we're not gonna count as much as the weight for test category. Okay. All right, you guys looking around. This is again your call. You got any other questions you got? Oh, Lillian, that's right, William.
Can you do
6. Let's go look at 6 there. What do we got on 6? Is that the fractional one? Sure is. All right, look at those denominators. Start off with denominators. Any of the denominators you see up there, find me a number that all those will divide into nicely. So what's number 3, 9, and 6 will all divide into nicely? Yep, 18 works, okay? That's where I'm starting. 18 divided by 3, divided by 9, divided by 6. It's got to make sure you got to divide nicely. Because if you chose something else, let's say 12. Can 12 divide by 9? Nope. You're still going to have a fraction. Your goal is to get rid of fractions, so find that magic number. All right. Multiply everything through by 18. Now here's the silly mistake that I see. Just because there's no denominator there, there's a 1 there, it still gets multiplied. So 18 times x is 18x. And then we always talked about I divide and then multiply. 18 divided by 3 is what? 6. And 5 times 6 is 30. 18 divided by 9 is 2. 49 times 2 is 98. Right here, again, doesn't have a denominator. Cool. 18 times 1 is still 18x. And 18 divided by 6 is 3. And 17 times 3 is 51. All of a sudden, you're down to like question 1. It's a pretty simple linear equation. I say simple at this time of the game where you were at. I would not say that's simple back in, say, 6th and 7th grade, but now it is. Okay, we got some like terms to bring together. Over there on the right-hand side, 98 and 51 combines to give me what? 149, I think. Okay. And then, what did oh, I forgot the x, so that does not work. I combined 98 and 51. I should not have done that because 51 should have a x on it, and that's not a like term. So my bad, I forgot the x there. Don't do that. The 98 does not combine with anything, but the 18 and 51 should, because those both have the x's. And what's that give us? Yeah. Okay. X on both sides. Wherever x you want to move around, I don't care. I usually move the smallest x as myself. I subtract 18x. And as I subtract that 18x, I'm at 51x. And 30 minus 98 is negative what? 68. And then divide by 51. That's clearly not going to divide nicely. Hopefully that reduces down to 4/3. But clear out the fractions. That's the first thing I'm going to give you a point off of. That's a 3-pointer tomorrow. First point is coming through, can you correctly identify that number and clear out the fractions? And then the other 2 points will come from, can you finish off by solving it? Okay. So that's how we'll look at that tomorrow. Anything else anybody's got? This is on you. Okay, if there is, we can do it at the end here. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to pass out the factory quiz from the other day. Like I said, I got to put them in Skyward, so as I call you up here, as I call you up, I'm going to put that in Skyward at the exact same time. Give me a moment to do that. And then we'll go over the quiz. All right, in no particular order. Let's do this. Well, I'm just going to write class. All right, Blake, I'm going to grab the quiz. Andrew. Love. X. All right. Let's take a look at this real quick. On that quiz, like I said, across the board, it was fine. The overwhelming majority of us are good with factoring, kind of the basics here. So that's what I assessed you on. So let's just quickly walk through those answers here. As I think I mentioned to you, number one slightly was just not the quickest one of all those. That was the one that took you maybe a little bit of time. 6x and 1x was never going to happen. It was going to be 3x minus 4 and 2x minus 9. Okay. So see what you did off of that, but that's the only combination that happened. Now after that, they're all pretty quick. Start off with 49, 36. We're missing the linear term. So we told you to keep in your head that when that linear term is gone, that b is 0, look for perfect squares. That have perfect squares and go with those factors. Number 3 is kind of our oddball with GCF because what's staring you in the face is the GCF. It's a binomial. So bringing out that GCF and then show me what you have left over. Now I noticed on a couple of people's papers you distributed everything through, combined like terms, then we factored. It's fine, you can definitely do that, but that's the shortcut. Number 4, what's missing on that one? We are missing the constant, so you absolutely have to use the GCF, which is 4x left over. And from the first time through when I assessed you on that, this time it looked a lot better, so that's good. And then number 5 is our trinomial. Back to that, factors of A, factors of C. And the only way that was going to happen was x minus A and x plus 3. I think this is one of the very first times where I'm thinking about it. On 1 through 5, nobody solved. In all 3 of my classes, nobody solved. So thank you on that, because I always have at least a couple people that say the solutions are 8 and negative 3. Doesn't say solve, does it? So that's good. Then 6 and 7, let's actually solve. First thing we had to do was subtract 12. And then randomly throughout the 3 classes, some of you stopped right there. Some of you did factor, which is good because you should have factored. And how does that factor? Minus 6 and a plus 2. And that's where some of you stopped. Okay? You didn't solve. Keep going. If you get this part done, the last part is pretty quick. How does each quantity become 0? Add 6, divide by 5. Subtract 2. That's what I was looking for. Okay, Caleb? And then, bless you. Number 7. There you go. This is already good to go. This is in factor form. I gave you one that was in factor form. And with that being in factor form, quick solutions are 5. And the other one is, subtract 2, divide by 5. There you go. Some of you did distribute, combine like terms, put it in standard form, factored it, and what you should then have had happen with factoring is you go back to right where you started off with. It's fine. I mean, obviously you can do that, but realize it was in factor form. Backside we go. A little bit more of a solving. And on this backside, as I mentioned to you, this is our SAT style questions. Okay, number 8. That one was off of that one. Factor that. And the way it factored was x minus 9 and x plus 8. You get your two solutions, but then here's where some of you took the 8 from right here because you saw plus and bubbled in 8. It's the solutions. My two solutions, one's negative 9, one's 9, and the other one's negative 8. So what I was looking for is, the correct answer is 9. Some of you clearly, I guess, I don't know, not doing the homework, I guess, but took the numbers from up above, took like B is 70, or C is negative 72 and used 72. I don't know. Number 9, it's factoring. From the factors of 12, they give you 4. What does 4 have to pair with to get you 12? 4 has to pair with 3 right there to get you that 12. If you distribute it on through, that's how you get a 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. So you should have bubbled in a 3 there. Down to your multiple choice. Number 10, that one, the GCF was letter D. That was fine. And then also number 11, that was fine. I know it seems like should be kind of like a simple question there, but so you guys are mainly freshmen. You'll take the freshman PSAT test in April, and you guys are a little bit hopefully ahead of the game on some of this stuff. But this is straight from the SAT for 9th graders. Sophomores, it gets a little bit more challenging, and then eventually juniors gets a little bit more. But that's why I keep throwing those out there now. And the same thing happens with number 12. How can we get exactly one solution for value B? Well, trying to kind of play that game of what this had to factor out into. It has to factor out into this right here. When we get one solution, I kind of get this deja vu feeling. Factors of 9. What's factors of 9? 1 and 9 and, whoops, this should be, 2 and 2 here. 4 is 2 and 2. So it has to be exactly the same. And it's both pluses because 9 is positive there. And to get the exact same solution, that has to be a 3 there. Now some of you gave me the 3, but that's not quite what we were wanting. I was wanting, what does that linear term to give me? Some of you said 6, which is better, but together what I was actually looking for was 12. Okay, so what does that linear term have to be in standard form is what I'm really looking for. So 3 and 6 and 12, eventually it's on the right track. But realizing I have to have that deja vu feeling for one solution. But it's all good. So on that quiz tomorrow, if you made some simple mistakes, say on that front side, okay, that's going to be the front of the second page, okay, is these right here. So if you've been paying any attention, I got one here that has an A that is not 1. Number 5, A is 1. I've got you a linear term missing. I've got you a GCF, so constants missing. And then I got our oddball with the GCF there of a binomial. I'll quiz those up on you one more time tomorrow. And then for the solving parts, okay, that's fair game. Okay, so the second page, front of the second page is basically this. If you made some mistakes today, tomorrow's your chance to catch those. Okay, so this is your time. Let's look back at factoring here. Look back at that quest review. Does anybody have any last minutes? We come in tomorrow, same deal, put the review in the basket. You're ready, pencil and calculator should be all you need. And let's take that quest up. Sam, what you got?
Can you, on the quest review, can you go back to 19? I told her to do square root.
Okay, so you now I'm going 19 what now?
I've got to do square root.
So, did you get to this point right here? That's a yeah.
No,
So, simplifying negative 3 root 20. 6 root 5, right? And that doesn't simplify. And this one becomes -4 root 3, right?
7.
And that gives me a 7. This is not a like term, right? So that's it. Yeah. All right. So you got some time today to continue working on that quest review, and come up, ask me, ask a buddy, check the answer key, and then if you get that quest review done, you have the review for finals almost done. I've been told you to chunk this out over the last week or so. So hopefully, in the case if you have not, then I be working on the review for finals. As you guys are working through here, I'm gonna walk around. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass back to you guys your old tests. I'm holding on to those to give those back to you. Between the review for finals and the old ones, that's the final. There should be no surprises.